Hey everyone, we're live here in Nourish, Heal, and Thrive. I'm getting my own group messed up. So anyway, I'm really excited to bring Bernie to you. Bernie and I met through a group called Bump, and we really hit it off because she's also into fitness and getting healthy, and we're kind of on the same page about that. So I really wanted to introduce everybody in the group to her. And Bernie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. I feel very special. So coming to you from Australia, which is a little bit cooler. I think you're in your summer now, so I'm very envious.
Yeah, it's summer here, but I don't know, the weather's been weird. I'm in Los Angeles and it's been kind of a cool summer so far. So I'm not really sure how the rest of the country is doing, but we're kind of cooler than normal here. So Bernie, why don't you tell everybody, well, you said you're from Australia, but tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Yeah, my name's Berni. I'm the owner of Trade My Way. So I'm a solo mum of two beautiful children. I've always kind of been in business myself. So it started literally when probably in my 20s. My passion for fitness led me into the fitness industry, and that literally started when I was in primary school, when I could do more tricep dips than the boys in the school gym shed. So I've kind of always had that in me that, movement has been such a big part of my life. And Trade My Way is kind of just, to help people that are, needing a little bit of guidance through, health and wealth, because they do go together, just through movement and through being able to, gain skills to trade through the financial markets. So that's kind of where Trade My Way was born. But it's essentially just being able to trade the good and trade out the bad in your life, whether or not that's through health and fitness or through wealth creation. Yeah, so it's a bit of a holistic approach.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really like that. I always tell my clients that, when we work on health issues, don't be surprised if you start making more money because when you're healthier, you're confident, and you just kind of attract more abundance.
100%. Yeah, Dan Martell actually just posted something through the week on one of his reels, and he was saying, if you're fit and healthy and strong, like it changes your bank balance because people trust you. Because if you can look after yourself, they're going to feel safe with you that you're going to look after them. So, I never really thought about it like that until he put it like that, and it is true. I'm going to trust somebody that looks after themselves because they're going to, guide me in the right direction as well. So yeah, it was a cool little rule that he did there. So yeah, it's all food for thought. All these leaders that, put that message out there. It just kind of helps reiterate your own message and drive for your own community.
Yeah, I like that. I never thought of it that way either, but yeah, I
Mm.
would probably trust somebody more that's in, yeah, it looks like they're in better shape and
Yeah,
take
because
care. They
because it
take,
is.
oh,
Yeah,
go ahead.
it's a commitment, isn't it? It's a
Yeah.
daily, you don't um, have a great physique by doing nothing. You know, you're doing it every single day and you're working on yourself and, trying to be the best version of yourself. So within our community, they say, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So, if you've got that under control, you've more than likely got your business under control and been able to help other people do the same thing and strive to be the best version of themselves, whatever that area is that they're looking to improve themselves in.
Yeah, my community actually says that too with how you do everything is how you do
Yeah.
anything is how you do everything. So I really resonate with that. That's really, really cool. We'll have to talk a little more about that maybe a little later, but um,
Sure.
tell me more about how you combine kind of the health and wellness with the financial side.
Yeah, well, it's a lifestyle. So I've just recently turned 50, and 2 years ago I lost my job. So my health has always been top notch, on par. It's been a not negotiable. And then all of a sudden when your wealth side is taken away, everything's out of balance. There's the quadrant of, your spiritual side, your relationships, your health, and your wealth. And if they're all sort of out of whack, then it feels like nothing's working properly. All the cogs are just, a bit clunky. So for me, that's where I was sort of looking at, getting into trade the financial markets, because I didn't want to have to rely on anybody else for my income. So, having that empowerment to be able to do that there's nothing like it. I'm on my own little ship, and I'm the one that controls what comes in and what goes out. Both wealth and health. So, and they go together. You can have all the money in the world, but if you're not healthy, fit and strong, you can't enjoy any of that. So sorry, my dog's just walking in the background there. And also, the other way around, you might have an amazing physique, and you might be fit and healthy, but if you don't have any money that you can go out and leave the front door, then, that's not going to work either. So, having the both of those, and, this part of my life, I want to be able to travel and, have that freedom. And you can only do that if you've got your health under control and you've got money to be able to do that. So, they all go together.
Yeah, absolutely. So like when a client, what's like your typical client? Like who comes to you? Do they come for you for more health issues or more money issues or
Probably money. Yeah, I think in this climate, a lot of people are struggling financially. They might have a full-time job, and particularly for people that only have one income, it's hard. Making ends meet. Everything's going up, but yet your wages are not going up. And that's why I look toward the financial markets, because my $100,000 job a year as a solo mum wasn't cutting the mustard. So how are you meant to go from, that to where you want to be? And it's not a pay rise, and it's not another job. So there has to be another way. So it's just, planting the seed with people, just to say, look, you can actually do this. It's just like learning a new language. It might look like Japanese to start with, but an old dog can learn new tricks, as they say. It's just, you've just got to go about it the right way. And my journey was really clunky in the start. So, if I can make other people's journey less windy to get them earning a lot faster, then, that's where my work resides. So yeah, it's pretty cool space to be in. And of course, my health and fitness, that's more of just an inspirational thing, because you can't be a good trader if you are, at the top of your game. So, and a lot of that is mindset as well. So there's a lot involved in, trading the markets. It's not just, placing a trade and learning how to, what certain patterns are going to be a buy or a sell. It's more so everything else, and it's more so you as a person. So yeah, and I didn't know all of that. So, if I can share my wisdom with other people to, get where they're going faster, then yeah, that's the aim.
Great. So that's like why you do it then, right? So you want to help other people not have to kind of
Mm.
struggle the same way you did. Is that right?
Yeah, it just doesn't have to be that way. And I think people just don't know that that's an option as well, because they think about the financial markets, they think about banks and hedge funds that only trade, but anyone can get into the markets. You've just got to learn the skills. So um, yeah.
So what would be an example of maybe like a first step? Like if somebody is, watching this for the first time and they're like, I want to get into the markets, but I have no idea what to do. What do you think is a good first step for them?
Look, it's not one size fits all. It depends what you want. What do you want out of the markets? Do you want some pocket money, or do you want it to be like your full-time gig? So, commitment is the biggest thing. So it depends on, what you want. So that's where that conversation kind of comes in, and then I can sort of lead in the right direction. But, being in a community, learning that's the language and having the education, and also the AI. There's so much available now. It's absolutely mind-blowing to help you earn money faster, whereas you're not on your own anymore, like that whole old school kind of, just to be able to rely on your own TAs kind of, heading out the door. So, it's been able to leverage what we've got at our fingertips, which is, is pretty exciting for the future. And particularly for my kids as well, because they're not going to be able to afford a median house price of $1 million on a $50,000 wage. So, um, it's forecasting their future and making sure that they're looked after as well.
Oh, that's great. That's really great. So you think AI is going to make things easier for people?
Definitely. Yeah, yeah. So I'm currently with a company that have AI scanners, so they help predict price for you. So it takes a lot of the guesswork out, and people don't have the time as well to dedicate what's necessary to be able to master the market. So, if they can just, dabble, it's like fitness. If you can spare an hour a day, it changes your world. If you can spare an hour a day learning a new skill, it'll change your world. It's like anything. It depends how badly you want it as well. If you want something, you just go and get it. You just got to start. Today is as good a day as any. What have you got to lose? As you with your industry, it's the same kind of thing. It's like, well, if you want to make a change, you just got to say yes and go, you know what, today is the day. I'm going to start and I'm going to make a commitment, even if it's, 1% every day, as you know, that trajectory, just a little bit each day. And all of a sudden it's part of your life. And you look back and think, oh, wow, what if I didn't take up that yoga class? Or what if I did take up that, new language or, whatever it is? It's very easy to be stuck in a spot and not know how to move forward. So it's connecting with groups like yourself that help drive you and empower you to keep going, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, I always tell people, just, start with what you can. If it's just taking a 10-minute walk, take that 10-minute walk. And,
Mm.
eventually that 10 minutes is going to turn into 20 or 30. And before you know it, you'll be at the gym and doing all kinds of
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly. Yeah, because it's addictive. If you get good at something, you want to keep doing it, which is something I keep telling my kids, especially my daughter who can't stand maths. Like, you just got to keep practicing. If you get good at it, you might actually really enjoy it.
Right. Right. So cool. So, what else do you want to talk about that maybe we haven't got to?
Oh, I want to know a little bit more about you and about your ideal client.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, this is supposed to be more about you, but I'm happy to share. So yeah, my clients come to me when they've tried everything and it doesn't work, right? They've tried every diet, they've tried every exercise program out there, and whatever they try just always fails. So that's when they come to me, and I help people change their mindset so we change their subconscious beliefs and we help them break through the barriers that are holding them back. It's usually something, emotional, like some
Mm.
traumatic experience in the past. Um, Usually it's self-love, that they don't love themselves enough. There's a lot of different issues, but we help break through. So we combine those emotional breakthroughs and mindset changes with the diet and exercise and to help create healthy habits that are actually sustainable instead
Yeah.
of the quick fixes.
Totally, that's it. And it can be just some tiny little tweaks, like I was, talking this morning on another call, and, I was actually last night I was at the dinner table and I don't realize that I do it, but I do that, when you're sitting down having a meal, instead of just completely hoovering, without taking a break or breathing or, speaking to whoever's at the table, have a mouthful and put your knife and fork down and finish what's in your mouth and then go again because it's so easy to not be thinking about the food that you're eating and just, getting it done. Like it's like a chore. Like, food's meant to be something that you enjoy and take time for your brain to figure out that you've actually got food in your stomach. And
Right.
because that's when the overeating steps in because, you've eaten too much too quick. And it's just, wasted calories that are going on your waist instead of, maybe
Yeah.
just having it for leftovers the next day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how many times? I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I sit in front of the
Mm,
TV and I'll watch TV, and before I know it, my whole plate is empty. And I'm like,
yeah,
what
yeah,
happened? I thought I just took 2 bites and it's already gone.
yeah. Yes, we're all guilty of it. So it's just being mindful about
Right.
that. So yeah, it's just one simple thing that can change, your whole trajectory about how you look at food as well, and making it like a bit of a ritual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. So how, Bernie, how do people find you if they want to work with you?
Yeah, so through I'm everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, website, YouTube. So there's only
Okay.
one of me, Berni Woods.
Yeah.
But yeah, Trade My Way is the business, so I'm easily found. So yeah, always open for a chat, and if anyone needs any direction, you know, about any tips, or just looking at changing that trajectory, just with little things. Sometimes it's just somebody's daily habit that you just didn't think about that could just change your whole world. So yeah,
Sure.
happy to help.
Yeah. So we're gonna have you after this in the comments. You can put any of your links and, just share how people can get a hold of you. So,
Amazing, thank
uh,
you, that's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, we definitely want people to be able to work with you, especially if you resonate with Bernie. Definitely contact her through her links that she's going to put up. Bernie, is there any final words that you want to share with the group?
Ooh, today's the day. Just start today. Don't wait until Monday, or 5 o'clock. Start putting a plan in place and goal set. I can't stress that enough. If you set a rocket off into space, you've got to have a destination. So, it's just giving yourself little goals, and rewarding yourself as well is really important too. So, yeah.
That's amazing. Love that. Yeah, let's just get started, set little goals, just do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me on, Derek. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you again for being here, Bernie. Thank you, everybody who's watching. And yeah, definitely look for Bernie's links. And if you like what we're doing here in Nourish, Heal, and Thrive, you can be spotlighted too. So just put interview in the comments and we'll get you on here so you can share your story, share your struggles, share your wins, whatever you want to share. We're here to support you. So thanks, everybody, and we'll see you at the next one.
Okay.
Bye.